Hi there. Have you ever wondered how do scammers get your email? Hi, this is Suzette for Cloudy Sky Today here on YouTube with some more cybersecurity tidbits. The question that I pondered is how do scammers or marketers get your email? Well, I did some research and found out three basic ways. And the first one, loyalty rewards program. Yes, I'll admit I signed up for loyalty rewards program because I want those deals in the stores. So yes, I do sign up. But have you ever gotten the notice where they said, "Oh, well, we don't sell your information"? Well, somebody must have. Why they need to tell you that they don't sell your information? Somebody must have done it in the past, and now it's no longer permissible. So loyalty programs, when you go to sign up for those emails, read the fine print. Are they going to be selling your information? I always wondered what some of these that are on the internet that they don't sell a product, but you sign up and you get discounts. Well, how do they make money? The next one is email scrapers. Now, this one is a little bit controversial. According to Octoparse.com, there are numerous tools to harvest email online. I did a quick Google search. Sorry, wrong hand, I have to get used to the mirror, right? So I did a quick Google search and I found these many tools that can harvest email online, and which is why when I build a website, and it's also recommended, I remember my teacher telling me this, that you do not put the email address on it. That's an easy scrape. You put a contact form, you have your gotcha thing or recapture thing, whatever you want to call it, that links to an email, that sends to the email, and then it comes to you. The email is not directly on the website. That's the better practice because of stuff like this. You got email scraping tools. There's even scripts that they can use to the email scraping. Well, we'll get to that shortly. As you can see, guess what? Email harvesting, according to sendblaster.com in a blog, is illegal. But yet, like I said, I just did a search. Oh, wrong hand again. And there are scripts out there that you can use to scrape emails, a Python script. And then, of course, I mentioned breaches. Breaches, not breaches, breach. And a lot of these breaches that we've seen in the news, you know, Capital One, Michaels, CVS. Yeah, those are ways that they can get your email address. I mean, more than likely, because I even remember last year getting not so much an email, but logging onto the site and it told me I had to change my password. And I'm like, okay. But they also sometimes will send out the email and you have to, when you log back in, you have to change your password. Yeah, your email address, a link to that, retailer has been involved in a breach. And also there is, and I did see that article, and also there is stuff like Have I Been Pawned, where you can check if your email address is involved with a breach. If you use it to log into, a retailer, and then they've been breached, that's another way they get your email address. So the reason why I found this interesting, because I recently got another email, and I know I discussed it earlier where I showed you a scam email that purported to be from CVS and it wasn't. So now I got a second one. And again, and it was funny that they used the same picture. So it could be the same group, I don't know, but it was from a different, and I'm pointing to the header here, different sender. Now, I checked the email, of course, and once I saw the picture, I kind of figured it was a scam because I saw that one before. Always remember, and this is something was in the courses and general. You'll find it on very good websites too that will share with you. You check the email header and see from, and you can verify the domain. Don't click on the links contained in the email, but you can hover over and it will show you, and you compare it with a known email. Like I hovered over the click to start, and this is what came up. That's not from CVS. I can already see it's from ppt.cc. If you're still unsure, They will tell you close out the browser because you don't want anything that remains in the browser, um, like a cookie, if you just open another tab. So you close it out completely, and hopefully that ends that browsing session. And then you open a new browser and you go to the website that you know. Well, in my case, I guess I would go to cvs.com. And they usually have announcements or messages there if they're doing something, especially if you log in. Banks, if it's banking you're talking about, a lot of times the banks would have a communication section that they will keep, you know, messages that they have sent out to you, their customer. Now, I went ahead and used my Raspberry Pi, which I've not used for anything personal. And I decided to see what was on the links. So I'll share that right here in the video. Now, I don't use my Raspberry Pi except for this type of research. So I haven't used that browser for any personal or banking reason. But when I did examine the links, it was very interesting. And there's one of the links I was showing you in the email. There typed in the URL that was provided when I browsed over the link. And you notice the website that comes up. It's a completely different. It doesn't say CVS. It links and then it goes to this other website. Squarebottom.com or something like that. And then they have a congratulations, blah, 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 take the survey now. Now, I want you to notice something about how they set up this link. And you notice how the domain changes. They imitated the CVS logo and the colors. So it looks very much like a CVS website. They have consensus because look on all the fake reviews that they included. Urgency, they put a little clock below the bottom like, hey, there's a deadline to fill out this form. So you'd feel like, oh, if I don't fill it out by a certain time, meanwhile, all they want to do is collect your information. Diana Kelly provided on a blog in Microsoft, the psychology of social engineering, provided an example of, the psychologist whose name I can't pronounce, how they like to use persuasion. And they listed 6 principles of persuasion: reciprocity, scarcity, authority, consistency, liking, and consensus. We see the consensus because there they show other people on the site, giving good reviews. They put in the urgency or the scarcity, like, hey, you got to do it by a certain time. And the authority, I mean, come on, it looks like it's from a CVS site. Now, I also look at Professor Messer because he's very good in the Security Plus, Network Plus, that old area of, one of the professors who, if you're taking the exam, you probably take one of their courses. And if you look on the 6 principles they talk about authority, intimidation, consensus, scarcity, familiarity. I would definitely, again, the scarcity or the urgency, because they always want to put in that urgency. You got to do it by this time, otherwise you'll lose it. So it's very interesting. These are, I mean, I would not recommend clicking on the link, but I did this in a environment that, I use my Pi and use my regular Windows that I use for everyday things. So I use my little Raspberry Pi that I just set up just for something like this. So what is the takeaway? Yeah, there I'm showing the consensus part of the thing. I even did the unsubscribe link. And all it had on the page, as you can see, is just unsubscribe. It didn't really have anything much. So that has been it. And I just want to give you a little takeaway. Just remember, you can always check the email header and see from who is from and verify your domain. If there are any links, don't click on the links. You can hover it and you can compare it with a known domain. If there are phone numbers, I know I shared this before, but you can always verify independently that that is the phone number of your retailer or bank. You never call the phone number in there because they have call centers. A lot of these cameras have call centers set up where they can very believable get your information. So I hope you found these tips very helpful and you can apply them to protect yourself on the internet away from these internet scammers. And if you like this content, please give it a like and subscribe.